What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name's Ben. I talk movies, I talk TV, and I talk the entertainment industry, specifically like the business side of things. So if you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff, I really appreciate it. And today I wanted to pivot just a little bit differently today. I didn't want to talk about movies and TV, but I wanted to talk about the entertainment industry, specifically related to comic books and AI, because what's affecting them right now is definitely affecting movies and TV. Now, I'm not a massive comics fan. Like, I've just started reading over the past few years. I enjoy them quite a bit, but like, I'm not one to watch like Marvel movies and be able to know where Easter eggs are at, or know like what different runs were, or know different artists by name or different writers by name like I do with movies and TV. But I wanted to talk about what happened recently in comic world, specifically because AI has come about with Colin Kaepernick's new company, and it's affecting film and TV the same way as it's affecting the entertainment industry, the same way it's affecting the music industry. It all kind of goes together with generative AI. So if you didn't know, Colin Kaepernick a couple weeks back announced that he's starting his own AI company to make comic books and help creators make comic books using AI technology.
Kaepernick launching a new company that uses AI tools to help creatives navigate some of the barriers that come with producing, marketing, and distributing content.
And he basically pissed off every single person. Like, I didn't see a single thing that like praised him for this. Everyone was universally pissed off about this, and rightfully so. And everything he talks about in this interview basically shows he knows nothing about comic books. He knows nothing about like creating something or anything like that. He's very similar to a lot of tech people who just like think it's cool and they want to get into it, but they have no idea how it actually functions, who creates it, and how it works. Like in this interview, he talks a lot about how there's a lot of barriers in comics, how there's like a lot of gatekeepers in comics.
We face a lot of barriers there in helping creators both create, the expense, distribution, and also the gatekeeping within the industries.
And like, while certain parts of that are true, like it really goes to show how much he does not understand comics at all. Like, he briefly mentions that like illustrators can't write, or like some writers want to write but they can't draw, and he's like, yeah, that's such like a gatekeeping thing.
Sometimes creators have gaps in their skills. So sometimes illustrators, they need help with writing, or writers, they need help with generating images. And if you're a creator like me who doesn't have either of those skill sets, we'll help you with both of those to get to a final product from an original idea.
And like, that is not a gatekeeping thing. First off, like, everyone knows that these are like two different kind of skills in like comic land. Like, if you picked up a comic book, you see that it's written by someone and illustrated by someone else. I feel like that's like 90% of comics. It's pretty rare that a writer draws his own comics, because they're two different skill sets, right? Two different skill sets. That is not a gatekeeping thing. That is not a barrier. That is hard work and skill. That is not something that you can just overcome with the press of a button. Like, there are a ton of things that like I want to do. Like, I would love to like sing in a punk rock band. I would love to play in a punk rock band. But guess what? Like, I have not put in the time to be able to do that. I have not put enough time to play guitar super well, to learn music theory, to like write songs. Like, I have not done that, and like no amount of tech is gonna help me in that. And that's just something that, guess what, I gotta deal with. It's okay. It's not a big deal. But like, that's life. Like, I wouldn't think you would have to explain this to like a pro athlete. Like, could you imagine going up to him and being like, yeah, I want to be a football player, but guess what? I'm not going to practice. I'm not going to work out. I'm not going to work on like my team building skills. I'm not going to like really work at being a football player. I just want to press a button and boom, I'm a football player. Like, he should know that that is not how you do things around here. And a lot of people who are not like creative in general kind of think this way. Like, then they're invading the tech world to where they think that with these tech advancements, it's gonna get them closer to being cool and creative and be able to make stuff. And like, that's just not how it works. In the interview, he specifically states like, you know, like, people with iPhones started to become photographers because the tech became easier and everyone was able to do that.
Very similar to how putting a camera on an iPhone turned everybody into a photographer. That AI tools can help democratize storytelling and turn everybody into a creator.
No, like, no one became a photographer from an iPhone. Like, it became easier for people to take photos. That's pretty true. But like, no one became a photographer just using an iPhone. Like, could you imagine you hired someone at like a wedding and they just brought their phone and was like, yeah, I'm a photographer, I'm gonna take all these pictures on my phone. Like, like, it's like laughable, but like, that's exactly what he's trying to say. Like, sure, it could have opened some people up to it. They could have like learned about lighting. They could have learned about lenses, and like the iPhone was like the first thing to like bring them into taking photos and learning that they want to do it. But guess what? They still had to learn. They still had to work for it. And the tech will only take you so far. Like, you'll have the tech, you'll have ideas and a dream, but if you don't have the work ethic, you're not going to be able to create anything. Like, I'm sorry, you just can't. You have to put in the work. Look, everyone has like ideas. They have ideas for movies. They have ideas for TV. They have ideas for books. But until you take that idea and you turn it into something else, using your skills, actually working for it, that's all it's going to be. Like, gatekeeping is not stopping you from doing that. If you could, you would. In this interview, he talks a lot about gatekeepers, and he talks a lot about how they are stopping people with ideas from like getting their dreams, which, like, not true. Like, I guarantee you, all these people with ideas, if they wanted to make comic books and if they got like a meeting with DC, Marvel, Image, Boom, all the comic companies, and they like presented their like little idea with like little knowledge how to continue it, what issues it would be, the panels it would be like on a page, like they would fail that interview so bad. Like, even if like all those barriers were gone, right? All those barriers were gone, they just got this magical meeting and they got to pitch their idea, they would still fail. Why? Because they don't have a good storytelling technique. They haven't developed the skills. They haven't put in the work. Like, it's not gatekeeping. Hard work and skill is not a gatekeeping mechanism. And if you want to talk distribution, like, distribution has never been fucking easier than it is today. Like, with the internet, you have so many like tools at your disposal, right? Like, you can post your stuff on like social media. You can create websites. You can go to like digital art platforms. You can go to YouTube. Like, you can distribute so many different ways, and you can like be connected with so many people. We live in the most connected age ever. Like, could you imagine like being in the 70s and you want to write comics and like you can't draw and you want to find an artist? Like, that's hard. That was hard back then. They deserve their kudos. Like, but like, anyone can find an artist in this day and age. You can go on Instagram, you can go on like any digital art site, find one and like send them a message, be like, hey, do you want to collab? I got this idea, let me pitch it to you, right? Like, distribution has been so easy. Like, it's not these gatekeepers that are Marvel or like Image that are like stopping you from finding artists. Like, if you can't do art, or vice versa, if you can't write, like, you can find these people out in the world. Like, it's not that hard. But most of these people with ideas, they don't want to put in the work to even find those people. Like, they don't want to do it. If they could, they would, right? Like, that is like my mantra when it comes to these type of things. Like, if they wanted to make comic books, they simply would. End of story. And let's not forget who AI actually hurts, and it's the artists making these things. It's the artists making these things that you love, because this tech is stealing all of their work. I don't want to hear any like, oh, they're just like using it for inspiration, or like it's not theft if it's like on the internet. No, like, if you took out all the artwork from the internet, all digital art, everything like that, this technology would not work. That is just a fucking fact. You cannot deny that. You cannot be a lawyer like that a lot of AI companies are doing right now, being like, oh, it's just inspiration. It's the same thing as if someone watches like a Francis Ford Coppola movie and then wants to employ some similar techniques that he did. Like, no, they are being inspired. They are recreating it. They are not like actively taking pieces of it and using it in their film. Those are two completely different things. They are stealing. End of story. And Colin Kaepernick knows that it is theft. Like, he knows it's theft. He talks about meeting a bunch of artists and talking about like their frustrations with the comic industry.
So many creators we've talked to are living paycheck to paycheck, project to project, and they have massive followings.
And like, he just ignored all of their concerns about this kind of tech. Like, I found this recent quote here. To be clear, I was one of the artists that had meetings with Colin a few months ago. He told me broadly what his AI platform was about. He mentioned that it was about removing gatekeepers and how he wanted to benefit people from undeserved walks of life. I told him that while I was a fan of his, I couldn't support this because those gatekeepers were people like me who had put our blood, sweat, and tears into our craft. Hard work, a pencil, and paper is all you need to make comics. I let him know that his product was going to hurt us long term. So if anyone is asking whether Colin Kaepernick is aware of the misgivings artists have with AI, please believe that he has been made aware. I know for a fact that I'm not the only one who did so. He was literally warned, and he still did it. I do think that this like generative AI thing is a bubble. I think it will burst soon. I mean, we've seen a lot of different uses of it, and it's all pretty shit. Like, you can kind of tell when something's AI generated. They all kind of have the same style no matter what prompts you do with it. And like, other companies have been trying to do it and they've been getting caught. Like, DC got caught doing it. Late Night with the Devil got caught doing it, and like, that movie was fucking cool, and like, if they didn't do that one little fucking image, maybe they could have had some praise for the actual good movie that they did. But no, they had to fuck it up. Anyways, and Marvel did it as well. Like, they all got caught because it all looks like such shit. Oh my god. And there's always that like, oh, it'll get better, like the tech will get better, they promised us it'll get better. Like, yeah, When has a tech company ever lied to us? Like, really? May it get better? Sure, we'll see, but like, we might be on the cusp of it. I don't know. I'm remaining as positive as I can about this. But there are some AI things that you can do that, like, using this technology, it can be beneficial. Like, Mike Shore recently on the Script Notes podcast talked a lot about how an AI tool for audio actually helped them out with shooting. Like, they shot this whole thing with 2 actors and there were like sea lions in the background, and like that's what the audio picked up, and like they were on location, so it's not like they could remove the sea lions. And when they got to post, they're like, oh shit, like there's sea lions in every single recording. So then they used an AI tool and got the sea lions dialogue taken away. That doesn't take away someone's job. That is just a very useful tool. So it's not like this technology is always bad. Like, it can be used in good ways, but not in the way with generative AI. So Colin, there's a reason why you don't have the skill set to be like an illustrator. There's a reason why you don't have the skill set to be a writer, because you have not put in the time or effort in order to do those things. Just like I don't have the time or effort to put in being like a pro football player. I can't compete against you. No matter what little facade I do, I still won't be able to compete against you, because a pro will beat me 100% of the time. And me not being able to compete against a pro is not a gatekeeping thing. It's not a barrier thing. It is a I have not put in the work ethic in order to compete with a pro. So Colin, instead of stealing all this artwork, why don't you pick up a fucking pencil and get to work? Thanks for watching.